tonight on BBC One. At 7 o'clock, Tomorrow's World includes a look at the dangers of driving.
Murray, I've commandeered a vehicle.
The old trick, eh? Eat the telly before I get a chance to nick you.
It's a toaster.
Dalek, you have been defeated. Surrender. You have failed.
Insufficient data.
Nazi ain't got no humanity. They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed. That's why any and every sumbitch we find wearing a Nazi uniform, they're gonna die.
Is this world protected? But you're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many. And what you've got to ask is, what happened to them? Hello. I'm the Doctor.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Good evening, good morning. Well, a lot has happened. A lot has happened in the world, so I took a couple of days off. Actually, I took 1 day off. It feels a lot longer. Oh, boy. I was sick, ladies and gentlemen. I was, like, real proper sick. I was actually sick up until today. But that was a little, I got my tissues. That was a little wild ride. I will talk you through that. We will, of course, talk about the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, which is going to go through. Forget everything. I think they just said they cleared the hurdles, but it's going to go through, right? And the Jews are not happy. The Jews are not happy about it. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's so much stuff to get to, right? There's I still want to review Creature Commandos. That was freaking awesome. I mean, that was just like, again, everything I've seen from James Gunn's, I was going to say DCU, but everything I've seen from James Gunn, I like everything he's done, right? Literally everything I've seen he's done, I've liked. So more of that, please. And I think, so yeah, I really got to review that tonight, right? Daredevil, we got the new Daredevil trailer. There's a new series by Stephen Knight, the guy who did Peaky Blinders. And it's a very Peaky Blinders type show that's starting next month. Severance is starting tomorrow. Silo is ending tomorrow. Oh, can't wait. I freaking love Silo and I love Severance. So we've got good stuff, coming on. If I could think of something, I just can't think of anything sexy to do for a thumbnail for a Severance. Well, maybe I'll try and think of one. I don't know. And again, so yeah, we have a lot going on. We have Neil Gaiman. Oy vey. We have Neil Gaiman and we have Doctor Who. This is just like dead on the roadside. No one gives a shit about it. It's like, man, they have absolutely killed Doctor Who. I don't remember the straw coming this far up last time I had, but this was like my Christmas present from my Hanukkah present. I should say from my daughter. But this straw, look at that. I have to hold this like way down. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much they fuck up Marvel. I'm still like having this Marvel cup. It's absolutely incredible. What else we got to talk about? Neil Gaiman, as I said. Poor Doctor Who. Help me. Flailing Doctor Who has no idea what's going on and nobody gives two shits about it because it's basically done. Man, sadly. I believe it can come back. I believe it can come back after Jodie. This Doctor, man, he's... which is worse, Jodie or Shooty? You could go... It's a good conversation to have of the non-canonical Doctors, right? which is everybody post Capaldi. For some people, it's everybody post Sylvester McCoy. Some people, it's everybody post Tom Baker. For some people, it's everybody post William Hartnell. Anyway, none so queer as folk, ladies and gentlemen. None so queer as folk. Let us talk about the historic Trump arranged Gaza peace deal, and we are not happy about it. Right? It's not a good deal. But I don't think there's several things I want to talk about. I don't think we're seeing the full picture. I have more trust and faith in Trump than I've realized over. But I've been wrong about this before, right? I put my trust and faith into the wrong people before, but he's got a good track record. And I think that's the thing that makes it kosher for me. That it was put together by Trump. And I think Trump is, a good person. A genuinely good person who likes the Jews, right? Which I think is part of him being a good person. And it's really weird how everybody, when they're on the side of evil, hates Jews. It's less like it's the barometer of evil. It's the strangest thing. It's like why do trans, I can't remember, trans people and like Muslim radical Islamic terrorists come together because they hate Jews. It's incredible, right? It's the unifying power of hating Jews. Good for them. Anyway, but it's a very bad deal for us, right? Whenever we let out tons of prisoners, people who organize, who arranged October 7th, right? Are people that were let out of a previous hostage deal. So we're going to look at it two ways. First, we'll look at it we'll look at it as from this world's point of view, right? And then we're going to look at it as from a theological world's point of view, which I think is a far more significant way to look at it. So listen, on the surface, this is a pretty shitty deal for Israel. Giving up a lot of control and giving up a lot of prisoners, putting ourselves in danger, and not really seeing much benefit. I think the benefit is this. Listen, I don't think anybody really sees it going very far, right? I think what people want it to go far enough for, I think the people who are trying to put it together want it to go far enough for, is to get the remaining living hostages home, of which there's about 20. Right? There's going to be 30 here. Let's see if we can pull it up 1 second. Grok is always good for telling me these things. Hang on. What are the details of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire? A second, let's have that pull that up. And again, I just like, as an AI, I really like using Grok here. I'll share the screen. Doink. Share screen. What's going on? There you go. Doink. So let's see what it has to say. Duration and phases. The ceasefire is structured in 3 phases. I doubt it's going to make it to phase 2. It is going to make it to phase 1 because essentially Trump is threatening both Israel and Hamas. They just, 3 phases. The first phase lasting 6 weeks. That's the only one I really got any hope for. Initial phase 1 called a temporary halt in hostilities. Agreement does not specify the duration of the subsequent phases. It indicates they will follow negotiations during the first phase. Now, do you see how tentative everything is? Hostages and prisoner exchange. Hamas is expected to release 33 Israeli hostages, including women, children, elderly, and those with illness or injuries. Now, they say the majority of those are alive, right? So it's around 20. I think it's 22 is my guess. In exchange for hundreds of Palestinians, prisoners held by Israel. The ratio of the exchange is set at 30 Palestinian prisoners for each civilian and 50 for each Israeli female soldier. Bloody hell. That's sick. That is sick. You've got to give away more people. Sick. You people are fucking savages. Subsequent releases of hostages and prisoners our plan, the next phases. But I honestly, it's the bodies. I don't think they're going to do much for them. Right? I think they feel if we go back to war, which they're gonna, they'll recover the bodies. Right? I think the entire point of this deal is to get out anybody still living. Right? And basically as much as you can. And again, without Trump's backing, I really wouldn't be much more dismal about this, right? Which is why most Jews here in Israel are not happy about this, because they kind of got their head in their arse about Trump, a lot of them. Military actions. Israeli forces are to withdraw from populated areas of Gaza. So this is an important thing. They set up 3 bases in Gaza. Now, I sounded fine all day today. I'll start a stream. I'm hacking up a China. Oh, who's calling me? I don't even recognize the number. Okay, fine. Let me just answer it. See if it's one of my kids. Hello. Yeah, who's this? Oh, you really? That was an automated message to say to pray for something. Stop. By the way, that's the other thing that's how this has really impacted my life is that suddenly out of nowhere, after being sick all week, all my kids were coming over service. My son, who's in Gaza, is home. They let him out a lot now. He's newly married, and they basically said he finishes his service in about 2 months, I think. And then hopefully he's going to get a break before he has to do his it's called Miller Women Volunteers. But he was supposed to be home this week. My other son and his daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law, his wife, they were coming, and so my 2 daughters were coming. Full house, right? Full house. Now apparently he might have to go back to Gaza because of this thing. Who knows? Right, so look, it's a shitty deal, right? Military actors, so they withdraw from populated areas, but they maintain the bases. That's the main thing they want to do. However, the agreement does not specify a complete withdrawal until later phases where negotiations for a permanent ceasefire will begin. Yeah. Okay, humanitarian aid and reconstruction. The deal includes provisions to surge humanitarian assistance into Gaza, including the entry of 600 aid trucks. It also outlines plans for reconstruction in Gaza, which will start in a 3rd phase, potentially lasting 3 to 5 years under international supervision. Yeah, I mean, dude, we can't trust you, right? No more tunnels, right? Implementation, the ceasefire is set to begin on Sunday. Okay, the only thing they got hope for is phase 1, right? And that's until they get all the living hostages back. And let me tell you, I'm expecting a lot of very dark coffins, right? I mean, like those Beavis boys, the 2-year-old and the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, and their mother's still alive. I'll be amazed. They're going to be, I think there's about, of the 100 or so people, there's about, how many hostages are in Gaza? Is what? How many of them? Again, this is so useful. 94. So about 22 of those are alive, right? The rest of these are going to be bodies, right? But I think there's a lot more going on that we know about. I think there's a lot in play with Iran and taking Iran off the map, in a geopolitical way, not massacring it, not demonstrating. But I think there's a lot riding on that. I think this opens the door to Israeli-Arab coalitions to essentially destroy Iran, which are looking really, really tentative right now, right? Which are looking really weak. However, the Jews wailing and gnashing of their teeth, right? And again, their dark assessment may well be right. My only reason why it's not is a belief in Trump, right? And it really is, which most people don't share. But again, I think because they just haven't been paying attention. But like, here's why there is wailing and gnashing of teeth, right? And there's a feeling like all of this for nothing, right? All of this was like really went through this, and now we're back here at a stalemate with giving them a road to a Palestinian state, which they'll use to try and kill us. Right, we're right back to square one, right? That's the feeling in Israel, right? Really? This still goes through the way it is. We're right back to square one. And that's why people are dissatisfied with it. And I think that's like that's deeply appropriate, right? Because I think October the 7th, again, this is from a theological point of view, was a very serious message from God. And a very quite simple one as well. And before we get into what that is, which I've talked about before on this channel, since October the 7th, I've seen absolutely no form of introspection about what we have done. Why would have God brought this to us? Why would they have given incredible luck is a bad translation of it, to Hamas to do all the atrocities they do. Like what is God telling us? And it's amazing to me that this hasn't been a topic of conversation at all. In fact, I'll say in the opposite of that. It's been something that's been verboten, right? And for me, why is it something that we're not allowed to talk about? It's because everybody knows the answer, right? Everybody knows the answer. Why? Okay, yeah. Any thinking person who thinks God is real would have to go, why do you think God did that? When God does something that's kind of out there. Yeah, why do you think God did that? So, why do you think God did that to October the 7th? And for me, again, I think it's very, 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 very clear, right? And again, why do people not ask this question? Because they know the answer is not because God is super duper happy with you, right? It's not because, that terrible, all those atrocities. That's a sign that God's really happy with everything you're doing. No, they know it's because it's our fault, essentially. And I think we were warned about it by God many times. And again, amazing thing, there's been no introspection about what brought us to this point. So to me, it makes absolute sense that this ends with Hamas. They're decimated and they're screaming victory, right? And we, in every sense, we've won this war in an insanely miraculous fashion, and we're going right, and they're screaming victory because we didn't want them to have the ability to scream victory at the end. We wanted them to be that decimated, right? And I think we could have had that. But again, I think God sent us a serious message on October the 7th. And I think we got la 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 la. No. Don't do this. Don't do this, mate. I don't know. Okay, this may be the first time I use my voice in a few days. That could be. That's why I'm somewhat surprised. And I'm hocking a chinik, as we say, as we didn't say, right? Okay. So what was that message that we're ignoring, right? That very serious message. Well, to me, this seems insanely clear, and I heard nobody else proffer any idea whatsoever or counter what I'm saying with any logical or source-based question, right? So this is it. This is clearly it. So what was October the 7th? We live in a state called Galus, or Galut, depending on what tradition of Judaism you come from. Right? Galut is exile, essentially, but it's more than that. It's a inability to effect your will as to the maximum amount possible, right? So that's what exile is. When you're not in your home, when you're in your home, you can affect your will to a much greater degree because you have a home field advantage, right? You've got everything set up to serve you, right? And so that's essentially what XO is. There were rabbis who would go on pilgrimages, like in Monkey, Tripitaka, but they would go like walking through Europe, and like have to camp rough, and then they made it to a town with a Jewish community. They'll go to the synagogue, and they would be like a bum, right? And people would like look after them, and it was intended to give them humility, right? Because that's what it does. That's what exile is. It was why are we in this state of exile? And the exile that we started, there's been several different exiles of Zohar. The book of mysticism talks about this. There's been, I think, 4 separate exiles, and they're all qualitatively different. And the one we're in right now is called like endless, essentially. You can't, because it's gone on for so long. It's coming up for 2,000 years. It's like a long exile. That's why you have the wandering Jews. Why do we live in exile? And again, we teach this at kindergarten level. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe people forget it. Or maybe it just becomes like a story to them. But essentially, it's because we talk shit about each other. And that's it. Right? And that's just it. We talk crap about each other. And we lie about each other, and we disadvantage each other using our speech, using our words, right? The archetypal story is this thing called Kamsa Bar Kamsa. While the wrong guy was the wrong person was invited to a party, and he was thrown out, and he was embarrassed, so he went and informed to the Romans, who started the exile essentially. But on a theological level, I think God looked down at this this guy being treated really, really shittily for no real reason other than avarice. Or more than that, other avarice, pride, not wanting to be wrong. And it didn't matter that God said, you can't do this, is forbidden, right? This is more forbidden than bacon. This is crazily forbidden. And they were like, I don't care. Here's the thing. When this guy was throwing the party, I've always think the biggest issue was everybody standing around looking, going, yeah, so what? Right? So what? It doesn't matter. And look, I've witnessed exactly the same thing. The weird thing is I've seen so many things from our oral history, the Jewish traditions prove correct. It's incredible, right? It's great. They say any generation that doesn't see an end to this exile are as evil as the people who made that exile. And I was like, come on, really? But 5 years ago, again, we had this, I've talked about this many times, and it still blows my mind, right? We had this rabbi who just openly broke pretty much every law you could have that we have, and there are a lot, let me tell you. Oh my God. Involving talking shit about each other. Like, he would talk shit about people constantly, right? And he had this little gang of followers who again considered themselves so religious, and they would talk shit about me constantly. Right, and everybody was fine with talking shit. It reached the point, that so many people refused to come to our synagogue. There was this Jewish law that I knew of that said, somebody who, if you have a large group of people, which we did, who won't go to synagogue because they're so disgusted with someone, right? They that person can't be given specific honors, right? So I told the guy who used to be my friend, said, listen, could you take this to the head rabbi of the town and find a reason why it won't apply, right? Because if he gets up, give him honors. The fact is that, I don't know, like half my most people won't go into the synagogue. Can you? He said, sure, I'll take care of it, and he never did. Oh, he wasn't an imbecile. But here's the thing. So eventually that guy got up to give him honors, and I had to step up and say, dude, I'm sorry. I did. And it's like, you can't do this. We have this law, this Jewish law. I don't see a way around it, right? I'm sorry. I tried something for you, but, nothing I can do. And he lied about that through his teeth. Oh, he lied and he lied and he lied. Said I attacked him, said I threatened and physically assaulted him. And schmucks, like the cretinous confederacy of dunces that surrounded him. Just like, and again, they all consider themselves so religious. And eventually the board of the synagogue did an invitation only, but in Jewish law, if you speak in front of 3 people, that's considered public. Did a community meeting purely to gossip about me, right? Purely to talk about the bullshit that was talking about. I mean, the most trafe, not kosher thing I can imagine. And it blew my mind, right? Actually, it made me mentally ill, right? It blew my mind that such a there was absolutely no consideration of not talking shit about each other. It just wasn't there. Yeah, and they all consider themselves, I guess, so religious. There's one guy who was like prosecuting attorney. Again, lied through his teeth to drag my name through the mud. This is the weird thing, right? This is how disconnected that is. He was like, trafe is not kosher. Go, trafe. And in his stupid head, he'd go, duh, oh, I'm such a righteous religious man. Right? But here's the thing. So essentially, because I like blew up their world, right? They took a lengthy shit on the essence of Judaism. We call it Torah, right? They took a lengthy diuretic shit all over Torah to fuck me over, right? That's a fair assessment of what happened. And everybody thought, right, because they're morons, they thought that because I was upset because they wanted to fuck me over. No, I was only upset. I mean, I couldn't give a shit what these losers say. At the shit, the diuretic shit they took all over Judaism, right? And again, this guy used to be my friend. The reason we're not friends, like, is afterwards I found out he lied to me over and over again. That's not the reason. I would have given him a pass for that. He lied about me, right? I would have given him a pass about that. It's that he couldn't understand and then we're going to tie this into October 7th. He couldn't understand on a conceptual level why that would be wrong, right? It's a weird, like, here's the thing. I've lived amongst secular people before, like normal people, people who aren't religious. I've lived amongst the ultra-Orthodox people who wear the black hats. I've lived amongst the American yeshivish. That's kind of like an American version of that. And now I live amongst, modern Orthodox, for want of a better word. By far, hands down, the most moral group. Like, if you look at each group and their general level of morality, the secular Jews, the non-religious Jews, by far the most moral, because they understand that's wrong, right? But here's the thing again. So this got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've told you about this. So on the eve of this big fast day, when you sit on the ground, you cry about all the evil speech in the world and how we were in exile because of it, and all the shit that's gone down. The Holocaust, the Crusades, all because we can't stop talking shit about each other. That's it. He talked shit about the whole community from the pulpit, and then hid behind his dog collar, for want of a better word. But the thing was, and I think this is what fucked God off more than anything else, that everybody, just like in that case of that party 2,000 years ago that started the exile, when the guy was thrown out and embarrassed, and everybody stood around and go, who gives a shit? Same thing here. Like I looked on and saw, my religion desecrated, like just so profoundly desecrated. And everybody just said, you know what, we can either, deal with this the way that God tells us to, and we got to say sorry to the community for this terrible thing that happened, and we should have a fast day, right, to atone for this awful sin we brought on ourselves. Or we could just pretend it didn't happen and say we don't have egg all over our face and we all work wrong. Right, we could do that, and we could basically just say that to God, right? God, I know you told us not to talk shit about each other, but we could have fucking care less. I like talking shit. And look, it's not only do I like talking shit, it's clearly my holy religious duty to talk shit. You know, that you turn this absolute evil into a something beneficial. And here's the thing. Since October the 7th, I think October the 7th was a wake-up call for that. Because, again, why do we live in this state? Because we talk shit about each other. And there's been no introspection whatsoever by anybody. It's been disgraceful. And so, firstly, I think we got off light on October 7th, frankly. And secondly, of course we're going to be exactly back at square one. What has anybody done? Right? What has anybody done to look inward and say, where do I need a change? No, nowhere. No one's done a damn thing. Right? So that makes sense to me. But I think the way God's really going to punish us for is that he's going to get the Messiah of the nation of Edom, right? Which are, generally speaking, Edom and the Jews don't get on that well. They, the Nazis came from Edom. We've been, at each other's throats for a lot. Esau is the father of Edom, and Jacob is, father of the Jews essentially. And they've been at it. They've been brothers, and they never got on. We're supposed to get on in the future. I think because we are so shitty. The Messiah of Edom is coming to solve our problem, which is the function that Edom and Israel were always supposed to have. The relationship they're supposed to have is like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. The Jews are supposed to be like Luke Skywalker, and Edom's supposed to be like Han Solo. And I feel that probably is what's going on with this peace agreement, right? I think on a more global level, I think that probably is what's going on. Because again, I believe Trump to be the Messiah of the nation of Edom, and I think he's the good of Edom, right? So one can only hope, right? But generally speaking, what else did you expect to happen? You've done absolutely. I'm saying this to my fellow Jews, my fellow religious Jews, who are like, what have you done? How has any of you looked inward? Oh, really? Oh, and God didn't give you what you wanted. I wonder why. Maybe you shouldn't piss in the face of God. Oh, maybe, and I said this years ago. And then people rolled their eyes and said I was crazy. When I saw this, complete lack of any sincerity towards Judaism, I said in this particular way, I said the only response could be a terrible, terrible punishment of anti-Semitic violence. Oh, you're crazy. I said, dude, you just got to do what God says. Otherwise, they're going to kick you in the balls. It's again, I don't find October 7th oblique at all. God said, if you do that, I'm going to do this. We did that. I said, fuck you, God. We don't care. We couldn't care less. Look, I'm wearing this. That makes everything okay. Fuck you, God. And for some reason, God got somewhat irate about that. Anyway, I think we got off relatively easy. And I don't think this is the end of the story. But this deal was reasonably shitty. I hope it has one goal alone, bring home the surviving hostages. Thankfully, there aren't that many left, or sadly. So that's my thought on it. I'll be interested. I think I'll probably hold for the first. I don't know. How long's the first phase? What did Grok say? First phase, 6 weeks. I think I'll probably hold for 6 weeks. I think I'll hold until we get the hostages back, and then I think probably there's a good chance that it seems to be the incoming Trump administration are very, very, very pro-Israel and Israel security, and very anti the Hamases of the world. So what one has to have some hope in the world for that, right? That's what I would say. Oh, 1 second. I'm just going to open that up. Doink. Good. Fine. Okay, man, I rambled way longer than that. I didn't get to any of the stuff I wanted to. Yeah, well. What can you do? Hey, what's that? This one. There's a couple of video clips we'll look at quickly. Doink. I didn't want to. I want to get the Pete Hegseth stuff. This is such NBC. Look at this bullshit report. Just thinking about it. And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. That was a pain in the ass. Bloody hell. I was like, I'm glad it wasn't mid-rant. That made life better. Now I've got that going. Did I lose much in the chat? Yeah. No, I don't think I did. Look at me. Oh, that's it. Well, that makes a healthy segue. Let's get to the chat. Do I right? But again, if you think the Jews are happy about this thing, they're not, right? They are actively not. However, they should be happy at the sun now. I don't know why. That was it. That I saw somebody share on the Twats. It was like kids memory porn. I mean, like, oh, do you remember those rub down transfers? Oh, they were great. They came on the first Doctor Who magazine. I think I even had these ones. Right? This was like a fold-up one. Oh, man, excellent. This was on the bridge of a Star Destroyer. I think this was outside the Star Destroyer. Yeah. If you know, you take each one of these little people, right? And then you put it on a background and you go with the pencil and you rub it down and it will stick on the on there. So basically you get to decide where each one of these people go. Once you put them there, they're permanent, right? I used to love those things. And then I grew up and I started to love these things instead. So there you go. I don't know why I didn't think of doing a Deborah Ann Woll thumbnail before. She looks too wholesome. That's why I kind of like slutting her up a little bit. I thought that was kind of funny. It made me laugh. Now, if you don't know, Born Again, which is the new Daredevil show, that is probably the greatest Daredevil story ever written. It's written by Frank Miller, art by Dave Mazzucchelli, came out in the 80s in the same time that Dark Knight was coming out. Watchmen, Killing Joke. You know, so it was in a really fertile time. And it was an incredible reboot for Daredevil, right? It basically knocked out everything over and reset it, right? And I think it did it in a really great way. But it starts off. So if you've seen the Daredevil TV show, you know he's got this woman Karen Page, who's kind of his girlfriend, kind of not, off and on, and she's got like this sweet Midwestern girl. So if the premise of Born Again, right, the comic strip, is that she's left to become an actress and it hasn't worked out well, and she's got into heroin. And now she does porn, right? And then eventually she sold the Matt Murdock, Daredevil's real name, Matt Murdock, for a fix. And then she goes on this pilgrimage to try and find him. But Kingpin ends up getting Matt Murdock's name, and he then systematically destroys his life and pushes him into insanity, right? And also wants to destroy his Daredevil persona. It really is a really great story. It's just fantastic writing. I can't imagine Disney in a million years, right? It's going to do it justice. One can only hope, right? I think they tried to adapt it. This is the second time, but I think season 3 they tried to adapt it on Netflix. Which is the Daredevil Netflix still on Netflix? Because that was a good show. You know, I've been watching Netflix because I've been sick all week, right? So yeah, you saw me do a COVID test. Was on Friday? No, I mean on Sunday night. I think I did a COVID test, right? And I wasn't saying, I didn't have COVID, but I had the flu, and then so I was like, oh man, I spent a lot of time forcing myself just to sit around and watch TV, which I know sounds great, but I hate not working. I always feel like I'm playing hooky and skiving, right? I know. I prefer to be working. I prefer to be active. But I just had to stop. Anyway, and so I was getting better. Then I got worse yesterday. And I went on this really weird bender where I started watching late 60s, early 70s British spy thrillers. So I watched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the Gary Oldman version. I thought it was quite good, right? I thought it was a little, it wasn't. John le Carre isn't quite as scintillating as you would think, right? And then I was like, well, that's pretty good. It's such a shame that I thought they may have done one of Smiley's People. There's another Smiley book. So I'm like, no, they hadn't. So I thought, you know what? I'll watch the Alec Guinness version, right? So again, I downloaded it. They're not hard to find. And I started watching it, and thank God, it put me to sleep. And I really needed that nap, right? I really desperately needed that nap. It did me the power of good. Okay, Alec Guinness doesn't turn up to about 35 minutes into the episode, which is an hour long. I'm like, no, we got to start with him. It's all like, oh, God. again, John le Carre did the script for the TV show, and that might have been a mistake. He was way too precious with the work. I can't imagine 6 hours of it. It sounds turgid. Like 2 hours is probably as much like as much ago. They really should do a Gary Oldman version, frankly. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spot was quite good. And then I started getting back into watching Callan. I love Callan. And that's just great. So so I was getting episodes of Callan together to watch, and I found a bunch of the missing episodes have apparently been found. I was like, oh man, I can't wait! Fantastic, right? That is gonna be absolutely great. So I'm looking forward to watching them. But yeah, it's a weird rabbit hole I went down. And then yesterday, oh my god, just to make it worse, right? I was straightening up. There was a towel on the floor. I bent over to pick it up, and my back went out. I was like, ah! Out of nowhere, I guess because I've been coughing, right? And I okay, if your back's ever gone out, it was more like just when your back's gone out and it's starting to get better and you can move, but you're in immense pain, right? That's basically where I was. So I haven't been to synagogue all week, right? I've been doing the prayer services at home. Today, finally, I managed to go back. I woke up this morning and I was like, my back still hurt, but I took some Advil, and by the time I finished having a long hot shower, right, I was really fine, right? I went to synagogue. So there you go, back again. Fighting fit. Fine. Let us get to the chat, man. I am late. Odin Starters here. So the sneak peek on next Doctor Who series. Yeah, it's the most undoctory thing I've ever seen. Yeah, most undoctory. Here's the thing. Comparing Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa, Jodie Whittaker was doing a very bad pastiche of the Doctor, not understanding the character at all. Whereas Ncuti Gatwa is just being Ncuti Gatwa. Right, he's not even trying to be the Doctor. He's just trying to be Ncuti Gatwa. And I don't find Ncuti Gatwa that doctory, right? Yeah, I mean, look, in the Christmas special, he ends up having spent a year living in modern London. I'm like, fuck me. He's probably the only one with the nearly English accent who lives there. Like, he was staying in this hotel. Excuse me, it would have been full up with illegal aliens. And he would have been a victim of knife crime a few times, right? It's but normally when the Doctor is trapped anywhere, he rails against it. This Doctor was fine because he's just not very doctory, right? Bottom line, he's not very doctory. I agree with you. Look, everything post Capaldi is non-canon Doctors, right? It's just hopefully one day it can come back. I don't know if it's ever going. I would love it to come back. I'm not really. Yeah, I don't see it in the next few years. Right? Look, we got this year, and they're not getting a third season from Disney. They would have announced by now. In fact, I have heard from at least one source that shooters filmed a regeneration scene recently. Which I'm like, okay, and I guess they'll be regenerating blind, or maybe they're carrying on doing like a very smaller budget thing, which I think will be good for them. Go back to doing like you did in 2005. It was fine. It really genuinely was fine. Just like get over themselves. Anyway, Dan M is here. Dan M, thank you for joining us. Come on, it says, I wonder if future cult historians will be able to look back and say, this is where Doctor Who started to die. Jodie Whittaker. Or started to die. Doctor Who started to die with okay. Doctor Who started to die when you had the bald old guy regenerate into the black lesbian woman who is a lesbian. Stop. And then this man, like, oh yeah, that's when Doctor Who started to die, right? Doctor Who really started to keel over in Orphan 55, right? And then I don't know. And now it's just been an animated corpse regularly violated in a necrophiliac way by the modern BBC and Disney. So, you guys enjoy yourselves. I really don't. Lonnie is here. How you doing? Lonnie sent me this wild thing. I had no idea about this. Let me see if we go. Where did you send? How did you send that to me? Oh, he sent it to me via... it was via the comments, wasn't it? You know what? No, I'll look for it by looking in the history, right? That'll be the way to go. Maybe put Ark. Would that come up? No, that's not it. If I do Trump, it's going to come with way too many. Coast Code, no. Wait, do I have it? Maybe I have the page open somewhere. No, that's not the one. That's a hilarious tweet. We are going to have to look at. Maybe was that Twitter? Maybe it was a tweet. It's from James O'Keefe, I believe. Ah, look at that! Unbelievable. Did I just find it? So I love James O'Keefe. I mean, like, just a really... it's not here. Yeah, if I look under media, maybe it'll come up about James O'Keefe at Mar-a-Lago, who has a exact model of the Holy Ark from Rangers of the Lost Ark there. And it's like an exact model. This is like, one of the holiest things in in Judaism. It's crazy. Where is it? Would I be able to find it? I would look for the comment. Oh, you know what? Here, I know what I'll do. Let me see. Just look at all comments, see if I can find it. Because it's worth looking at, right? Oh, man. I wish was it YouTube wouldn't hide these comments. It's so funny. This guy was. This is so funny. Let me just read this out to you. I love it when people like get upset when you point out that queer Doctor Who is really not a good idea. He goes, ignores every other very cat performance in the trailer and focuses only on Shooty. Why? Because Shooty's the star of the show. He sets the temperature. What, insecure your own masculinity? No, not in any way. Again, if I was gay, I would have no problem saying I'm gay. And privilege somehow being under attack by the mere existence of black queer representation. No. I just don't think everything should be queer constantly. I think, if you want to have queer stuff, that's fine. But it's not mainstream. Stop pretending it is. It's just the same as left-handedness and its rise in popularity when we stop giving a fuck. Look it up. It's just the same as left-handedness. Okay, now we're looking it up. What the hell does he mean? Left-handedness. Rise in popularity. Oh, he's saying that there are less left-handed people. Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're an idiot kid and know nothing. Okay, fine, sorry. But I was looking for the thing from Lonnie. Where was it? Oh, yeah, look at that. Actually found it. Oh, did I? One second. Here we go. Is it coming? Is it downloading? How do I get this picture? Fine. You know what? I'll share the screen. We'll do it that way. But again, I'm sorry. This was a real tangent I went on, but it was worth it because this is crazy. Deborah, thank you for keeping everybody busy. There we go, Toink. So yeah, this is a perfect replica of the Ark of the Covenant. Now, again, I'm hoping when it's going to be rebuilt, we can do something a little bit cooler with it. 2,700 hours of labor, 6 pounds of gold. Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant was. They have the wood you make it, and then you cover it with gold. And the angels represent where the Jews are right now, right? They were if they're facing each other, it's a good thing, right? I don't think it's really cool, right? Why does Donald Trump have a full-scale replica of the Ark of the Covenant made out of real gold in his own Mar-a-Lago? I think he's just cool, right? Honestly, I think it's just cool. But you know, he likes the gold. Doing. There we go. Fine. What's that worth the sidelight? I don't know. They're all worth it. They're all worth it. Peter Rich asks, I'm feeling better. Well, you know, hopefully I've answered that question. I missed tomorrow's world. Yeah, that was great. Although, honestly, we should stop innovating. We should have yesterday's world. Oh, don't know. Yeah, as Petey Rich said that. Someone says, Eki hello, yes. I'm the doctor. Oh, Eki thump. Ew, boogers. Oh, did I booger on the screen? Well, there you go. D is here. What do you watch? Do you watch chat music on YouTube? No, I don't. I never heard of it. Creature Commands was a lot of fun, but I was hoping the final episode with Frankenstein being useful just kind of fell short there. And honestly, it was for me, it was an entertaining half hour a week. And I can't ask for more than that nowadays, right? I can't ask for that nowadays. You've been moving your straw too often, says Lottie. I don't know what that means. In my cup. Okay, fine. I thought you meant I live in a sty. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, like the cat, builds up his kitty litter. Oh, I'm having a lot of success making the cat an indoor-outdoor cat. Right in the morning, when I let the dog out to run around the garden. Now I let the cat out. Boom! Off she goes across the street to the park, runs around. But she likes a little bit of freedom. And then about 9:30, 10 when I go to start work, I open the doors, call out for the cat. And I just want something to eat. And then if I just leave the door open for her to walk in, she comes trotting right in. And if she doesn't, she'll come in later. But I'm enjoying her being an indoor-outdoor cat. Work the thumbs up like the Rabbi straw. Well, there you go. I can't argue with that. What is this Rob said about the Peter Colin Archer giving away all the terrorists, right? And having any Hamas left, right? Hamas will violate it, and mainstream media will blame Israel. Yeah, but Israel is the media's done. It's finished. It's over, right? It's all that matters really is Twitter now, man. Elon Musk made Twitter so much more influential than it was. It's really crazy, but he did make it. They were I think the most influential social media, right? PD Rich, was it? Amro says, Shalom, how you doing, Amro? How on earth did Mr. Shit Talker make it out of a rabbinical ceremony? Excuse me, because nobody gives a shit. They're all full of shit. That's why. That's weird. No one gives a shit, and they're all full of shit at the same time. Check out the release of Trump's official inauguration portrait 25 compared to... Okay, 1 second. Let us look this up. Trump official inauguration portrait. Right. 2025. Let's see what comes up. Images. Is this it? National Portrait installed photograph of President-elect Trump before inauguration. I think this must be it. I think this is it. Yeah, where'd it go? Oh, for goodness sake. Come on. Okay, for the official president. Is that all that it looks like? It's his mugshot. Swipe for more. Really? That's his official portrait? That's weird. Yeah, let me see if I pull that up. I know, listen, in the Donald we trust. That's the official president portrait of Donald Trump was released. And it's this. Really? That one looks like he's about to kick ass. back. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to the 22nd. Forget the 20th. 22nd will be awesome. So yeah, Dan Bradley, I did check it out. Jacob the Father, Whole Nation. Oh, this is from Nineveh City, wasn't it? What was it? Jonah. Fine. So then my internet goes out. Well, yeah, Trump's not very happy with a certain religious nonsense over here. And for once, it's not the C of E. Well, we're talking about the the completely peaceful and totally non-violent and non-hateful Islamic element. Anyway, I jiggle the handle. I'm back. There you go. Let's let decals. Yeah, no, PD Rich, mate. We used to call them rub down transfers. Oh, the Space 99 ones are awesome. Yeah, let's see if we can find it. Space 1999 rub down transfers. Maybe it's just me who call them rub down transfers. There we go. See if we got pictures of them. Down. I mean, they're so designed for these. Oh, I had this one. Yes, I had this one. Let me pull this up. I totally had this one. Oh, come on. Where is it? Come down low. Doink. Hang on. I'll just say the picture then. I can do that way. Save image as. That's a webbed thing. Does this open up webs? Let's have a look. There you go. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right, and they're the wee little Space 99 men. I remember this one too. There you go. Hang on. I forgot there were Kojak ones. I remember seeing those. There you go. And you would put you had to put the wee little Space 99 men on. They were great. Oh, I forgot they kind of fold open. Do they have the whole packaging? Yeah. Yeah, because if I can find bigger pictures of them. Oh, I'm so sad they don't make these anymore, right? I really am sad they don't make these anymore. Doink. Oh, they have a Kojak one. Let's see if this one downloads. Oh, there you go. Yeah, this is how they did the packaging for them. Zoom in. You can't really see. Oh man, it's too low res. But they were great. Yeah, they were absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun with those things. Anyway, I digress. Speaking of having fun with things, there you go. Deborah Moore's back. Where was it? Letraset. The fold-out car backgrounds. But I'm pretty sure I had the dinosaur. Yes. Matt Bonner, I doubt they won't renew Gatwa's contract. Oh, he's gone. He has no interest in continuing. He's done. He's done. Like he's already complained that he missed the role in some movie that got awards. Who cares? They got awards. It means it's gonna be crap. Gunnar Johansson is here. Hey, doing Gunnar Johansson over there on the Wumbles. Ah, look, Rumbleworks. Look at that. What about the Corsair who apparently swapped genders frequently? That I don't think was such a problem because he was unique and strange for doing it, right? I don't mind it when but it again, it's like, when they try and pretend that insane, intense queerness is mainstream. It's not, right? It is just not. What am I up to? Probably 1 in 9 of the population are left-handed, I think. Incidentally, the Latin for left is sinister. Really? That's interesting. There you go. The real ark is in Warehouse 13. No, apparently it's hidden underneath the Temple Mount somewhere. That's what Jewish law says. Either he likes Jews or is massive fan of Indiana Jones. Yeah, I mean, like that. Well, he could be both. I'm still waiting for the crying cast tomorrow as well. Promise it. Yes, those lying bastards. Trying to make so many miraculous things go line up for him. In something like that, he wasn't killed, right? I mean that's kind of a big one, right? That's a really big one. That looks like he's got a laser something like. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait till they get in. They're just getting one. Now you make me want to show the videos there. No, fine. We got to get onto geeky stuff, right? We got to get onto geeky stuff. Where should we start then? Now I've like literally ranted about everything and talked about Space 99's transfers. I think maybe we can start with one second. I'll send a message. With looking at some of these trailers we got. I'll tell you, the trailer I'm most excited about is not the Daredevil one. All right. Look, Daredevil, that first season was really good. I think the second season wasn't as good, but at least it was in the bloody costume. And the third season, I think it kind of like all fell apart, right? Somewhat. Yeah, sadly, right? Sadly. And 1 second. So yeah, am I excited? I don't know. It's I think my version of it will be way better. Quite frankly, I think my version of it will be way better. Dr. Alex, how you doing, Dr. Alex? Thank you for joining us. Matthew Pound was right. Season 3 is when they had the FBI in. You can see when the woke came in. But actually, I'll tell you, the Marvel series on Netflix I'm most disappointed with is Jessica Jones. Right? That comic was awesome. Right? That was Brian Michael Bendis before he went woke at his absolute best. Oh, Brian, it's weird. He can't write for Toffee anymore. Right? I started realizing that Bendis is like lost the plot. He lives in Portland when he did a whole comic book about Antifa, with Antifa being the heroes, right? Like it looked fantastic, right? But it was a bad idea. Like, yeah, once Antifa becomes the heroes, you're doing badly, right? You're doing badly. Anyway, let us go on. I think we can start looking at trailers. But before we do that, I think we must gird our loins, right? She cried. Gird our loins and bring a gestalt entity into existence so we can properly understand these trailers. Of course, who am I going to mind well with tonight? It is, of course, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, Dan Hadley. How you doing? Oh, you're looking very shorn.
Yes, they got me in the end. Well, not in the end. They got me. Right. Didn't quite go that low. Well, at least I don't think it did. Please, yes, I am sure.
I've never been a groomed person. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I did have to ask for an estimate. It had got that long.
An estimate of what?
How much it would cost to take it all off.
Well, normally you're wearing a hat, So in the
the Christmas hat hides a multitude of sins and excesses.
It does. Yeah, it's weird this week. I can't think of a major disaster that Labour caused. Can you?
Well, they have got the extraordinary. This might have happened while you were ill. They had another.
I was trying to take credit for the ceasefire.
Were you not following the saga of Ivor Kaplan, the Labour guy?
No, what was that one?
Go and look up Ivor Kaplan. Go and look at his feed. Don't tell him in the live chat. Go and look up IVORCAPLIN. That guy, this week, member of the Labour Party, former MP.
Did he just plead guilty to beating somebody up?
No, it's worse than that.
That one, no, I did cover him. Yes, I actually always the bloody way. Yeah, he was the guy who was like very like anti any restricting LGBTQ rights, and then gets caught bang to right trying to fuck a kid. As basically the person does, right? Honestly. We live in a society where we're down to one rule: don't fuck kids. I mean, that's really it.
You would think it would be quite an easy one to.
Go around for that.
Yeah, it's if you go back, if you look at his Twitter feed as well, after being released or whatever they've done with him, he went straight back onto social media soliciting for sex.
No. Well,
Yeah.
Look, I guess that's when you're going to want a shag. I mean, really.
Unbelievable. Just totally shameless.
Okay, fine with that. What's your feelings? Have you watched Daredevil? Do you know anything about Daredevil?
I watched it when it was on Netflix back in the day. I can't remember how many seasons they made. I certainly watched 2 of them. I've got a feeling.
The first season was excellent in a lot of ways. In that, the only problem I had with it, he didn't get the costume till the end. Right? I wanted another more costume at the end.
I remember.
I like the second season was weaker, but at least he was at the costume, and Elodie Young playing Elektra was perfect casting, right?
Yes, now it's starting to come back to me. The girl playing Elektra was ridiculously hot, and you're quite right. They did get him in the suit at last.
And then the third season nobody really cared about because it went so super woke, as I recall.
The third season happened at a point in my life where I had to go off radar for various things, for various personal matters. So I don't think I ever saw it, but I know that when I sort of returned to geek culture, it was done. All those Netflix Marvel shows were all done. They're all gone. So I don't know what happened to any of them.
Are they still there, or do they get on Netflix? I can't remember.
You can get some of them on physical media, but I don't think you can stream them. Certainly on Netflix.
That sounds weird. So this one that they bring it back onto Disney, which they're like, oh god, what they're gonna do? Although I tell you, Disney has Alien Romulus on it now. So it's like, well, that's pretty good. So they're doing this storyline, which is. It's the what's the word I will say? It's the Great White Whale. I think they tried to do this for season 2 or 3 on Netflix, and it didn't work at all because they went away from the source material. Here, I'll show you the cover. This is by Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli.
Oh yeah, I bought all of these. The Born Again stuff.
Yeah. One second, I'll share the cover. So again, if anybody doesn't know, this went from being a normal superhero comic to all of a sudden Karen Page, who's like, if you remember, she's Deborah Ann Woll played her in the show, and she's this nice innocent Midwestern girl. Now she's essentially a crack whore porn star, right? Who sells out Daredevil's identity for a.
Looking back, this happened. I think I'd been reading Daredevil for about 4 months when all this started to happen, and looking back, it was somewhat of a handbrake turn.
It was the era, right? You had Franklin and Dave Mazzucchelli. I think they went on from this to do Batman Year One, which is very influential, right? And then at the same time, you had Alan Moore and Brian Boland doing Killing Joke, Batman Killing Joke, and at the same time, you had David Gibbons and Alan Moore doing Watchmen, and Frank Miller again on his own doing Dark Knight. So this was the part of the official the 80s revolution.
This wasn't long after I got into comics properly, and so all of this was happening. And you think, wasn't I lucky? But to me, comics were always like this. I hadn't known them before, really, not American comics. I used to have them bought for me in the late 70s for a few years.
Right.
My granddad used to pick them up from the local newsagent and bring them back when he bought a newspaper, a TV guide, and a couple of comics. And so I had stuff like Justice League and Wonder Woman, but until around this time was when I started to get them myself.
See, I think the first one I picked up was before I was really reading American comics. I was certainly reading 2000 AD, and I liked Warrior. I was well into. Do you remember Warrior?
I do remember it, but I never bought it.
Oh man, what a revolutionary comic title that was! Right, it was. It had Marvel Man in it, which became Miracle Man. It had Viva Vendetta. It was black and white, great strips, laser razor.
I used to see it in the newsagent, and it never used to appeal. I think because it had nobody I recognised on the front cover from a TV show or a movie or an animated series. It just never. I was just that bit too young for it to reach me. I used to just look straight past it.
Right? Because I remember going to. They had the Eagle Awards at the London Comic Con one year. And then 2000 AD lost everything, and Warrior won everything, which is why I thought I should probably check this out. right?
Yeah.
But I picked up a copy of Daredevil at a newsagent's, and I think it was the episode part 3 or 4 of this. So essentially, the Kingpin finds out Daredevil's identity and then systematically destroys him slowly, like pushes him. But so this is after his life's been destroyed, and it opens up, and he's like sleeping rough, and there's this incredible monologue. Just fantastic writing. I doubt that Disney's going to be doing this. I don't know. Like here, my thumbnail for today. I think
they've taken their time with it, haven't they?
Yeah.
As I understand it, they've even refilmed. Didn't they get rid of the showrunner? Replace the showrunner?
Yeah, but like that normally is bad news. Daredevil leaps back onto our screens. How will Disney fuck this one up? Well, let's find out, right? I'm sure they're going to fuck it up somehow, right? They basically fuck up everything. So I have very little hope they won't fuck this up. However, there's a trailer that you probably don't know about, which looks freaking awesome, which I'll show you after this.
Thank you for...
Okay, now if you haven't seen Daredevil, it's famous for these long, brutal fight sequences where there's no cut, right? They remember in season 1 they had this lot. He takes on this whole bunch of people, and it's about 10-15 minutes with no cut whatsoever.
Brutality.
Yeah, and it was really good. Also, the casting of I can't remember the name of the actor, is fantastic. He was in Boardwalk Empire. They get a lot right in this show, right? Especially the casting.
Finding the time. Oh, I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
So it seems to me they're using the title Born Again to reboot the show, sort of, and it's do a soft reboot. Keep everything they liked about it and put it in a new continuity, which that's fine by me.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world. I could say the same about you.
Now, I think they've recast Foggy, who was a major character. Is it the same actor? It's hard to tell.
I could say the same about you. The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced.
I do hope they're not going like the... I don't think they are, actually, because the trope is so dead now. The evil industrialist politician, the Trump-alike, right? I think, I mean, that's got to be dead now, hasn't it? Do you remember when Big Finish, every release had an evil industrialist who was a politician?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Oh, well, where'd you get that idea from? No. Wait, Colin Archer doesn't remember Warrior. 1 second. I've got to pull up the cover. Hang on. Warrior issue 1. I'll put Dead Skin. Doing. Let's see if I I'll put Dead Skin. Dead Skin. Hang on. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Come right up. Oh, that's yeah, let's see if I can find a higher res picture. Hang on. I'm easily distracted, let's be fair. But although I find it somewhat more insane than this trailer, which I'm just okay. I'll show you the cover of Warrior after the trailer.
Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system. Why did you stop being a vigilante? The line was crossed. It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This certainly looks like they got the fight sequences back, right? Again, I think the brutal fight sequences is really what this show is.
Yeah, this looks fine.
Again, and I get irritated with the DC fans being like, yeah, Creature Commandos isn't like that. And I'm like, I enjoyed it. Leave me alone, right?
Creature Commandos is very malleable because it's not really a thing. It's more a kind of rolling idea that's changed over the decades. So yeah, people getting funny about that is really ridiculous. Whereas Daredevil, it's not Spider-Man, but it's it's got a flavour.
Is very much, I think, very central to the MCU. I mean, the MCU was born out of Marvel in the 2000s, right? And Marvel Knights, right? And Daredevil was central to that. This is where Brian Michael Bendis really cut his teeth, right? And did a great job.
This city can't go unchecked.
Okay, this does look like a good show. I'm going to agree with you. I remember the third season on Netflix did try and do Born Again. I remember how, because they had Joanne Wally, not Kilmer anymore. Joanne Wally played his mother, right? And I just remembered her from The Singing Detective, looking insanely hot constantly. And suddenly she was like in her 60s. I'm like, whoa, what happened? I guess fine.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. The chaos must reign. Mind putting the hatchet down?
No, I've never been sure about John Blumenthal about the Punisher. Right? I've never.
No, me neither.
I think
the saving grace of him playing Punisher is that he is a really strong actor, and
he really is. He dominates everything he's in.
And given the fact that Thomas Jane played it before, and Dolph Lundgren, and even Ray Stevenson, who looked the spitting image of him, none of them were as good actors as this guy.
I agree with you. What was the thing I was in? I very much liked him as Tony Soprano's father in Many Saints of New York, which I thought he was great in. But I think, he's a solid class actor. Completely.
Sometimes it's just an actor. I don't know. I mean, whether they physically look like them or not, an actor's performance or ability and their interest in a part kind of eclipses all of that somehow. And I think this, not that I've never really seen him. I never saw the Punisher solo series at all. That's
when the Netflix MCU just went woke about halfway through. Honestly, it kind of died with Jessica Jones, right? Jessica Jones was such a massive disappointment to me.
Me too.
It's one of the best things I've ever read, and this was just it was just not very good. I also think the performance I liked him most when he was like in it for like 5 minutes was The Wolf of Wall Street. He was great in that. And he was very Punisher-like in that as well.
Yeah.
I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
One thing they did very well in the original series, and I like this a lot they did it a little bit in the first season, a lot in the second season. They had frames which looked like they came right out of a Punisher comic, and there are many different famous artists for doing Punisher. I think, what's it called again? The guy who was the editor-in-chief for a while.
You mean, not Kubert, scratchy art. He was on the Marvel Knights series.
He did the Marvel Knights, right? That was basically his invention. Who was the name of that editor-in-chief? Before Axel Alonso. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean,
he was the editor-in-chief only until about 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember his bloody name. He was a fantastic
I can't remember his name either. Right, but again, very, very classic Daredevil and very classic poster. Like when I love the scenes where you have said Daredevil leap off a roof, right, and like
I'm gonna have to do
exactly right.
I'm gonna have to Google that while we're
Okay, fine.
Marvel Knights Daredevil.
Okay, it looks good. And it's got
Joe. It's Joe Quesada. I just Googled it.
Yes, pure Joe Quesada art, right? Let's see if we can find a
amazing stuff.
It was, By the way, for some people ask me if I pull up this cover. This is from the first issue of Warrior. When was this? This was like 82, 83. Man, what an incredible comic this was, right? Okay, you have Laser Rays and Press Button on the cover. And again, that they've never been really reprinted and made huge is beyond me. It's about... Okay, have you ever read Laser Rays and Press Button?
No, this was... At the time, I was reading Scooby-Doo and His TV Friends, Spider-Man comic, and Transformers. Oh no, Transformers was a couple of years later. So yeah, I was reading Scooby-Doo and all that kind of stuff around this time.
So the basic premise of Laser Rays and Press Button, and that their first run, the first 12-issue run, so I can't believe it hasn't been reprinted. It's one of the greatest comics ever written, right? Ever done. Steve did the art. So you got this guy who was a florist who was eaten by this like alien fungus, and basically that's only the quarter of him left, and so he's got this cyborg body. He's insane, and that button is you press it and he has an orgasm because he no longer can't have sex because his wedding pact has been eaten away, right? And it's completely, and his partner is this ultra assassin, super hot woman called Mistra Visalis. Anyway, it's like the laser razor, and she's got this incredible backstory. She's a clone of this woman from thousands of years ago, and it's like just a great writing, great artwork. How this has never been optioned and not been on Netflix. They could do a great job with this now. Then you got Father Shandor, Demon Stalker. This really dark horror strip set in, I don't know, Middle Ages, with Father Shandor being Demon Stalker. V for Vendetta became famous, and the other one was a Warrior. It really was just one of the best comics ever written.
How long did it run for? Only about 2 or 3 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it became a victim of its success. Marvel did an injunction. The main character was Marvel Man. Yeah. And Marvel then did an injunction, so they couldn't they couldn't use the word Marvel Man anymore, right? Which is why Alan Moore fell out with Marvel big time, and they had to rename it Miracle Man when it eventually came out. So that's what really stymied it, I think. But that first year, oh my God, just such great work. And again, that this hasn't been reprinted is beyond me. Right, it just lots of very good strips, and the good thing about the V for Vendetta in this was done by David Lloyd. This was when it was in black and white, and they had the incredible idea of not putting lines around the speech balloons. So they wanted it to be part of the reality, right? So and it really worked well, right? It really worked.
His later stuff, he did some stuff in Captain Britain Monthly, didn't he? And that was similar to that.
He did that. Before
Raven, was
Yeah.
it?
That's been reprinted, but that's good stuff. Fine. Do you like a bit of Peaky Blinders?
I do, but I've only seen the first 2 seasons of it, even though it's filmed literally about 200 yards away from where I'm sitting.
You're from Brum, and you don't watch Peaky Blinders, really?
I know.
Okay, I know. I think it's the 3rd season when they have the best villain comes into it. Which is best character comes into it, which is Tom
in this area. Yeah. For a while, for about 2 or 3 years, Peaky Blinders was everywhere. It was like the entire area between Birmingham and Dudley became a massive theme park for Peaky Blinders stuff. All the pubs, bikes everywhere, flat caps were back in a big way,
and loved it.
Yeah, it's hugely popular.
That's why. So Tom Hardy comes in playing the head of the Jewish mafia in Camden Town in London. I used to go to school in Camden, so this was like I just loved every moment of that. And he remained an enduring.
So character. I've seen the first 2 seasons, and he was in the season finale of season 2.
Oh,
I haven't picked it up. That was about a year ago. I watched that.
I think season 3 is probably their best season. Where you have this great actor plays one of the villains, and it's an actor. Okay, it's an actor you never see in anything, but he's brilliant. He was. Oh, yeah. One second.
I watched the first. I watched the first series not long after it came on, and I hate to say it, I felt like a traitor to the area because I didn't like it very much. I found it I thought technically it was brilliant. There was a really sexy girl in it who worked in the pub, the Irish actress. But I just didn't feel it somehow. It didn't really work for me. But I watched season 2 about 18 months ago, and it was fantastic. Yeah, it was really good.
Also, Stephen Knight, I think, is probably one of the best writers in the industry right now. I mean, he did this great movie with Tom Hardy called Lock, which is basically just him in a car talking on the phone.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
so gripping. Just a great writer. Anyway, so there's a new show coming out next month by Stephen Knight, very much in the Peaky Blinders mold. It's got basically the same cast, just rejiggled.
Oh, okay.
It looks like there's lots of woke tropes in it, but my feeling is that they are woke tropes put in to get it made. So
about 2 years ago, he made a series about the early to mid 70s that was set in Birmingham and Wolverhampton, and he was filming that all around the city. And at the time, I was going in and out of Wolverhampton quite a lot, and they were closing out certain areas, and they were bringing in buses and old cars and redressing the area to make it look like how it would have done. I can't remember what that series was called, but it was a complete disaster. It was on BBC Two. It was a total disaster, and nobody watched it. It was about ska music and all that kind of thing. I thought it looked great.
I've got to check it out. I love his work, right? Yeah, so he did SAS Rogue Heroes. That was his last thing, which I've only seen the first couple of episodes of. But that looked kind of fun.
It looked like a new version of Ultimate Force, the Ross Kemp action show from like 20-odd years ago.
Oh, man. I didn't realize he wrote C, which is on Apple TV Plus with Jason Momoa, and that never really appealed to me. But he says he's done 24 episodes of that. I got to check this out. The Vale, maybe This Town. That's what it was.
This Town. That's it. Yeah, that was the one that was filmed in Wolverhampton and Birmingham.
Right. Oh, I was looking at Peaky Blinders. I want to find out the name of.
But they were filming the Peaky Blinders movie.
Yeah.
In the canal just up the road from me, with Cillian Murphy was there, or was it Killian? I never know how you pronounce that. Killian Murphy was there, and Tom Hardy was there, just down the canal by the shop by me.
Cillian Murphy is an actor that has I went from being he's kind of mediocre to he really has grown on me big time.
I was never very keen. Like you say, even up until when he was in Batman Begins, I never thought he was that good. I wouldn't say he was never the kind of actor who, if you see him in the cast list, you think, "Oh God."
Okay,
no.
The thing that convinced me that made me like Cillian Murphy was Oppenheimer, which have you ever seen that?
No, I've not seen that either.
Oh, okay. Now you got a big screen TV. That's worth it on 4K, right?
That's one of the reasons why I felt it's on my list of things to see in that sort of format.
Yeah, it's look, it's not like an action movie. It's basically about how dirty American politics was. Like Oppenheimer got screwed over by them, and it really is. There's a long political thing, but I find that stuff interesting. Oh man, I must have the wrong season. I'm trying to find the one where he's. I'm trying to find the name of the guy who plays. Anyway, so he's got this new show coming out. Let's have a try. And it's very much in the Peaky Blinders mode.
London, the Lion's Den. Don't matter if you were raised here or you just got here.
Oh, this is the boxing one, isn't it?
Learn to fight.
Right. And it stars.
This looks ice.
Yeah. What's the name of this guy? He's great in everything. Right.
He was the prison officer in that fabulous series with Sean Bean at the time.
Yeah. Stephen Graham. That's it.
That's it.
Bloody hell, he's been working out for this, or taking lots of steroids.
Yeah, he's a pudgy bastard in Well, yeah, probably both.
Or this city will swallow you whole.
We just get here from Kingston, Jamaica, and we are looking to make some money in the ring tonight.
But I think this is done by a writer because they don't just have completely inappropriate, racially completely appropriate people there for no reason. At least they're there for a reason, right? At least
you can just tell, can't you? At no point watching this trailer there was a couple of black guys there, and it never, because it seems right, it doesn't stand out in any way. It feels completely authentic.
Weird. It's it, but you can tell the intention from behind the. You can tell Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White was just a good acting choice, and Jeffrey Rush as Commissioner Gordon was woke shit, right? It's so you could, I know, it just bleeds out. There's no way of not telling it.
My name is Mary Cobb, Queen of the 40 Elephants, the biggest gang of female thieves in the whole of London.
You have all the power.
Yes.
I want that. You can do it. You can be the next champion.
Yeah, I can just see him in the pitch meetings putting everything in that he needs to put in to guarantee.
This looks so ace. Do you remember that 5 minutes of Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes movie where Robert Downey Jr. is in the ring?
Yes.
This looks like 2 hours of that. I'll have that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what what this looks like.
I want him off my patch. If they want a battle, I'm ready for war. I come from the struggle and love all the trouble. I've been here before.
Take him.
Watch me kill him.
Oh, you got to get Disney Plus for it, I think.
Is it on Disney?
I need
Yeah, if it's Hulu, it's going to be on Disney internationally.
him for something. Plans are forming.
It's our time now, brother.
If they want a battle, I'm ready for war.
You doesn't get to just walk in here and take everything from me.
I'm done. I'm sick of the talk. The smoke.
I like Stephen Knight so much. He did a super woke Christmas Carol, which I really enjoyed. It had Stephen Graham as Marley's ghost, I think.
I remember we talked about that, and I saw the trailer. I didn't literally fall asleep watching the trailer, but I found the trailer so boring. I thought, well, if I found the trailer boring, then the show is going to send me to sleep, so I didn't bother.
It's worth watching the first 10 minutes.
You're not the only person now. A couple of years on, you're not the only person who raves about that. It's supposed to be really good.
It went over the edge into just woke shit and just went off in a. But it was done by somebody with immense talent. It's very obvious. I think they had him do one of the drafts of the Ray Star Wars movie at one point, and then he left.
He's already taken it all. And you just let him. Don't take my protection for granted.
And may the good Lord have mercy on your soul.
This may be the bottom of the barrel, but we are going to float elegantly all the way to the top.
Yes. This looks absolutely fucking ace.
Hezekiah Masco.
Yeah,
I am here to fight like my.
Yeah. Again, I'm looking forward to this.
This just looks fun.
I'm excited for this, but I'm not excited for Daredevil.
Daredevil looks good. I won't lie. I think Daredevil looks good. I think it looks legitimate. I think it looks well made. But this looks absolutely coursing with life. This looks relevant.
Yeah, speaking of very sad news, David Lynch just passed away.
I knew he was very, very ill, so I can't say. He's been on life support for a couple of months. Yeah.
Oh man, we would have to do a bit of a David Lynch retrospective on Saturday or Sunday.
I'd say, yeah.
A news item that I said I was going to get to, but other than this, so maybe I'll play the leftover.
Yeah, I'd say this now. David Lynch. I haven't spoken to the rest of them, but I think that everybody else on the panel would agree. David Lynch's passing away will trump every other story on Saturday night.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Blue Velvet in of itself is great. Oh, I remember. Okay, the guy who played the villain in season 3 of Peaky Blinders, I really like. It was an Italian name, Australian accent. Also played Adolf Hitler in the Preacher TV show.
Oh yes, I know who you mean. Yeah,
right, and he was great in that.
Mate, how many parts is this series? That we've seen the trailer for now?
Hang on.
Is it a mini series or is it like Peaky Blinders, like 10 of them?
We'll find out. Hang on.
This looks right up my street.
Okay, I'm saying.
I was raised on boxing and all that sort of stuff as well.
1,000 Blows. It's 2024 series. I think 2025. Well, there's 2 seasons of it. Well, apparently it's in its 2nd season. Hang on. Episode.
Oh, somebody like Stephen Knight, they sometimes lock them in, don't they? Like that bloke.
Yeah.
When the bloke what's his name, who does Andor. When they got him to do that was a deal for 2 seasons as well.
I'm actually vaguely excited to see Andor, right?
I had to give that another go, really, hadn't I?
So the trouble with Andor is it only gets interesting about 2/3 of the way through. Right, the
Yeah,
first
bored
2/3
me
is
witless.
yeah, it's so boring, right? The first 2/3 is just like so, but it's all like looking around what life's like living in Star Wars land. If not
Verada Sethu was in it playing a lesbian, and it still bored me.
Sorry,
Verada Sethu was in it playing a lesbian, and it still bored me. That's how bad.
yeah. Well, there was nothing sexy about it, right? Nothing sexy at all. This is 12 parts apparently. Yeah, let's see the end of the trailer.
Great.
Like my people are watching. Ready for more. Ready for more.
Oh,
Yes.
I hate they're dropping all episodes at once. They weekly roll out.
Yeah, because there's always some arsehole who, by the time I've woken up on Saturday morning, if it's dropped on Friday afternoon, who's watched it by 10 a.m. the following day and is plastering videos of it, including spoilers all across my timeline.
I'm really sick of the binge model, right? I think they really genuinely need to get rid of it.
It's self-defeating now. Now there's so many streaming platforms, it's self-defeating.
Well, I'm trying to see if he has a credit, Stephen Knight, for the Star Wars stuff that he didn't do. He was he was attached to the Raven.
It's a kind of badge of honour now, really, isn't it? If somebody's like been
everyone's run screaming from it.
The first person I suppose to have that done to them was probably Russell T Davies. But Star Wars wasn't even with Disney then; it was still with Fox when they got him on the Underworld TV show and he walked. But now, it's like virtually everybody of any kind of credibility whatsoever has worked with them for say 6 months and then gone.
Why do they keep trying to roll out a Ray movie? No, I have no idea what data they have to say that it's anyway that anybody wants it.
No, they haven't gone, have they? It's that inability to admit that they were wrong that they keep, the best part of a decade on.
Is a subsidiary of Labour. That would make sense. Or maybe Labour is a subsidiary of Lucasfilm. They certainly have the same worldview.
Angela Rayner in Ray the movie.
Rachel from Accounts. I'm telling you, Lee Anderson is that she's forever going to be Rachel from Accounts. Rachel Reed. Did you hear what he said about David Lammy?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We have 6,000 villages in England. If you take the village idiot from all of them, put them in Tottenham, David Lamb is still the village idiot. And he's so dumb. And like, honestly, at some point you would have thought the Labour would go, okay, we've just got to completely reboot, right? Everything we've done is wrong. No.
David Lammy has been a standing joke in Britain for the best part of a decade, if not longer. He's been a punchline. So the idea that Keir Starmer would get in, and of all the people to make our foreign secretary, that it would be David Lammy, is ludicrous.
He's genuinely embarrassing. Oh, one second. Look, Lonnie just pointed, provided.
See, we all knew that, but now the world knows. Same with Jess Phillips. Firewood.
Yeah. Oh, is this the link?
Bear in mind that my ex-girlfriend lived in Yardley. This girl I was seeing up until only a couple of years ago. Been to Yardley loads. It's a shithole. Jess Phillips has been the MP there for years and years and years. Absolute shithole.
Well, I get. Wait a second. I'm on the thing. Hey, Get Comics. I'm trying to get this this link that Lonnie put up. Getcomics.org, right? And I got to look up Warrior. Because apparently you can get them all. Let me see if I can find it.
It's probably upposted. You could probably read it digitally and maybe download PDFs.
I'm trying to find the link. I've got the 70 pages of it.
That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it? To do as a sort of reading club. We should do some sort of reading club, shouldn't we?
You know what? That's something you should do on your channel. Yeah,
Ideas Factory, everybody. Ideas Factory. Somebody else steal it by the time I've had to do it.
Hang on, 1982. Let's see if that comes up with that search. I bet it does. Oh, here you go. Here, 1 second. Oh shit! Share the screen. Oh well. Okay, share screen. Doink.
He's doinking.
So you can get the full 27 run. Yeah, I'll give you a link to it.
I know it wasn't going for long. 27 issues isn't much at all, is it?
I mean, again, the artwork in it is so freaking awesome. Everything about it is awesome. Yeah,
it wouldn't look right in color either. I think stuff like that doesn't.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct there. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. Well worth checking out, right? And again, the merch I've always wanted, and just I don't know who has the rights to it. If it will never happen. Looking published by the year. Get a full year, like 1982 looking. All the ads, everything, just completely reprint it. That would go great guns. Weirdly,
I would love that.
And weirdly, the what's it called again? Is what was I going to say? I just got thrown off with somebody saying it was on eBay. What was I just saying? Well, I'm glad it was weighty and important.
we were talking about Warrior,
right? You can get it. I gave a link to it,
which I've just got up here.
Right. So looking have a compendium. What's never been reprinted is the 1980s Dan Dare. Why not?
I don't know. Dave Gibbons as well. You'd think it would have been.
No, that was been reprinted. That's been reprinted. Right, but the one from Eagle, right? Remember with the space.
Oh, wasn't Gibbons on that? Yeah.
It was.
No, he wasn't, was it?
It was done to. I got them all digitally, but it was done much more to look like. Was it not Frank Bellamy? Frank. Who was it who originally did Dan Dare?
Frank Hampson.
Frank Hampson here. Let me see if I can find. I got that somewhere.
I've got some of the annuals. I haven't got any of the weeklies anymore.
Right.
I never actually had Eagle in the first place. That was my brother's thing. He had Eagle.
Eagle when it started, it was they had all these photo strips. Doomlord was a photo. It was just weird, right? Doomlord being a photo strip. There's so many. It was like Photo Love. Remember Photo? Yeah, probably before your time as well. Are you doing a show tonight?
Yes and no. So if you head over to the Type 40 channel from 8 o'clock, you will find. So yes. So we've got. So what's first? We have got this fabulous podcast. Everybody, if you've not yet watched this or listened to this, it's up across all major podcatchers. So if you use Spotify or Audible or any of those places, you can get that with the video edition, as always, there on the Type 40 channel. That's our panel reviewing Joy to the World. We recorded this about 10 days after it was broadcast. It's myself, Charlotte, who's flavour of the month this last week. Bless her heart. She had a bit of a hard time from someone. So Charlotte, myself, Charlotte, Luke Walters from Cinescope, and Anthony was on there with us as well. We had a really good chat about Joy to the World, a nice big review there. But coming up later on is sort of an additional thing to that. So it's Type 40 Extra.
That's great. I love that. Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, so this is yet more of us talking about most of the impact of the Christmas special and where we are at the moment with Russell T Davies shooting at one. So as always with this is the Type 40 Extra strand. So it's fairly off the cuff. Very, very candid. Yes, you can get that from 8 o'clock. The live streams will be back soon, everybody, with the 200th edition of Type 40 Live. But for now, tonight we've got Type 40 Extra coming up at 8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, we've got... So this is something else I've been doing as well, because people have been asking me for this, is bringing every episode of Type 40 to the YouTube channel. So the podcasts, putting video tracks to them and making sure everything's up on the YouTube channel. So from 9 o'clock, episode 0 of Type 40, from all the way back in 2018, that's up on the YouTube channel.
Oh boy, that's just when the horror was starting.
Yeah, you can hear the naivety in my voice. 7 years ago, when Type 40 was beginning.
One of the many projects I never got around doing is writing a complete retrospective of the Jodie years, right? After living through it, again, it was too miserable experience. By the way, here's the artwork for the 1980s Dan Dare, right? It was. I remember they had a commercial.
Yeah, I read all of these.
Animated this, right? And it's very much done to look like the original, very classic. How has this not been reprinted?
God, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Right? It's great. I mean,
wow.
There's this great cliffhanger where he jumps out the window, right? And he's about to hit the floor, the ground, and it was like plastic. It was like some kind of plastic pavement or something for people who not.
I haven't seen these for years, and that looks like John. It's not John Ridgway doing the artwork, is it?
No, it's here. It doesn't have that movie here. This was, I think, before the age of putting in the. They sometimes have the signature in
the captions.
Oh, here it is. Author, the artist by Jerry Embleton. No idea. Never heard of it. But yeah, man, this will be great. Again,
I love this.
Remember Dan Dare in 2008? Yeah, I never really liked that one. It didn't seem very Dan Dare to me. Right? What show have I always wanted? Mark Gatiss to head up a 12-part, between 8 and 12-part, hour-long episodes of a Dan Dare TV show. Very traditional. Big Ben under the dome. Danny Boy to the Doctor, right? That is Dan Dare, right? That and I think he could do a great job with that, right? Oh, I didn't even get to Neil Gaiman. Yeah, I'm gonna shit. This will be.
You mean Naughty Neil?
Naughty Neil, right? Naughty Neil. But look at this again. You shouldn't laugh, right? You shouldn't laugh. What I did, and I haven't even read what he did yet. Right now,
just make a list of the things that perhaps you think you wouldn't do.
Yeah, but
he's done pretty much everything.
So somebody's like close their accounts. I don't know how we can rewrite Christie. Sadly, he's written for the show either way. I'm not sure. Okay. All woke Doctor Who fans out there, you got to understand. We have been watching Doctor Who for a long time, and the people that have been openly hating us, right, in the entire time, and we got over it. Okay, I understand Neil Gaiman is a bit of a perv. What do you want me to tell you? It's like they want to add a content warning. What for? What?
So the material's not perverse in any way. It's in no way reflective of any sexual practice he may or may not have embarked upon.
I mean, look, way more perverse was casting a black woman to play the very, very white role of death, right? And then say, no, that's totally normal. That's totally normal. It's always the wokest ones.
Do we really imagine that Neil Gaiman is the first pervert to ever write for Doctor Who? Who knows what people have did behind closed doors? We don't know what went on in decades past, do we? I mean, it's not that I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap up later without getting to any story whatsoever. I doubt I'm going to put out any content tomorrow. I'm still recuperating. We'll be with you on Saturday.
Saturday. The Spacebook Live. If I'd have thought, I'd have had the graphic up for that as well, wouldn't I? Because that was last week's Spacebook Live show. Was even if I say so myself, that's one of the best things I think we've ever done on there. There was a pair of us, Noel Glynn, Bowles, Trek.
Oh, Noel was on. It was great. Oh yeah, it was. I really liked having Noel on the show.
He's awesome,
isn't
he?
The more you can get a couple on, the better for me. I really genuinely loved it.
He says he'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'm going to pester him again.
Oh, please. Please do. Anyway, I got to ask to see if I saw Rumor Dan Dare for 2008. Yes, I never really liked the 2008 Dan Dare. I was always too not Dan Dare enough. I kind of like the Grant Morrison one and the Ryan Hughes from the early 90s. Where,
Revolver.
Revolver, right? Dan Dare versus Margaret Thatcher. It was.
You say it loud, it sounds ridiculous.
People are very okay. How remember how people are with Trump? Take that back about 300%. People like that with Thatcher, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so where we're on Saturday, we're covering. Do you know yet, or are we going
to? David Lynch has just passed away, so I've got a list of things that we were going to be covering. David Lynch will be story number one. I know that Bowles Trek is a big David Lynch fan.
Jago just passed away.
Christopher Benjamin's died. Several people have died this week. Paul Danan died today as well, everybody. Paul Danan. Total head case. Is it fair to say he was a head case?
I don't even know him.
He was a British... Originally, he was a soap star, and then he became a sort of reality TV star. Absolute nutcase. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, because it's very sad that he's died. He was only 46.
Fine. Speaking of not speaking, this is the last thing before we go. Speaking of not speaking ill of the dead, right? I used to help out this podcast called the Flashing Blade podcast. This was back a few.
Siobhan's podcast. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that was back, and I'm not dead naming them. Tony, right? When he was Tony, right? Beforehand. Anyway, as pretty much everybody on that side of the aisle does, he came out as like vehemently anti-Semitic, right? Essentially, and they all do, right? Like, but they go, that's not anti-Semitic to say Jesus, whatever. So like, she passed away recently, right? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Speaking of not speaking ill of the dead, I was like, yeah, I can live with that. That works out well for me. Anyway, with that rather dark note, I think I'm going to move on. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button, and I'm going to hit it again and say good night, good luck, and may your God